Hey everyone, this is Interactive English, which our channel, it's all about helping you practice and improve your English skills. My name is Wes, and
I'm Ioana.
and we are the creators behind Interactive English. And today it's more of a listening lesson for you, because we're just going to have a natural conversation, a discussion about a topic that one of our members, one of our patrons has asked us to discuss. And as we go through this, we'll try to identify some words and phrases that maybe it might be useful to help you just build your vocabulary, and that might make it a little easier to understand and follow the discussion as well. So the question that somebody asked us is, what's it like why did you choose to live outside of the United States? So we're from the United States, but we do not live there. We live in Europe. And I think they were just wanting to know why we made that decision, and I think what it's like to live outside of the country. So do you want to talk about why we made that decision?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I've been living away from where I was born for many years now, so it's kind of, when you move first, it becomes much easier to move again. Because I was born in Romania and I left when I was 15, so the United States has been like a second home. And then once you're kind of used to that initial leave where you're from kind of thing, it's easier to do it again. And the reason is,
each time you do it, it gets a little easier.
It just gets easier. You get more adaptable, I guess, as a person.
That's a good phrase, though, second home. Because a lot of people talk about that, especially I think when they're traveling or living in other places. They talk about like a second home, like another place that they're comfortable with.
Yeah.
Or you could say a home away from home
or
is another way.
Well.
Yeah, that feels like home.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think in the same way that I've lived teaching English has brought me to several different countries. So I've lived outside of the United States for some time. But I think it's, I don't know, I always think it's good to get outside of your comfort zone, to get a new experience, to learn another culture, learn another language. I know that I've heard back from many of you that some of you want to go live in places like the US in order to improve your English, to study, work. There are many different reasons for that. And I always encourage people to travel and go abroad and live in other places.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I think you learn so much about the world, about people, about who you are, even discovering yourself when you travel. Not just when you travel, because when you travel, you're going to have a very different experience than when you live in a certain place. But when you live somewhere, just how well you handle things, just even little things. Like I remember I had a friend who was upset that in Europe, in some places don't have like shower curtains. It's just like, oh, I never knew that was important to you, like to have a shower. But you get used to it, and then you find out which things are important and which things are maybe not that important.
That you could do away with, yeah.
Our baby just woke up.
Emmy has joined us. She is she is the third teacher on our channel, Interactive English. You may have seen her in some other videos. We've done some collaborations. But I would say, especially living abroad, I think there are many advantages, but there's also, I think, quite a few hurdles that people have to jump over. And a hurdle would be just talking about an obstacle, something that may be challenging. So, for example, like when we got here, just trying to learn the healthcare system, things like that can be a little challenging. When we had her, because she was not born in the United States. She was born right here in Budapest, Hungary. So
yeah, so there's bureaucracy issues, there's healthcare paperwork, and the language is a big one, of course, especially if you have to go to the doctor and you have to just the medical terminology and everything could be different. Prescriptions, even lab results, like things like that people don't think about sometimes. Obviously, they're not going to be in English.
Yeah.
So you have to figure that. I remember we had an important test when I was pregnant, and they told me it was all normal, but I wanted to know the numbers and everything, and it was all in Hungarian, and I was like, oh gosh, like how do I decode this?
What am I supposed to do with this?
It wasn't just Hungarian, but it was like Hungarian medical language. So I was like, oh shoot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it can be tough.
I think a lot of people ask us too, like what we're going to do in the future. And I always say there's a lot to take into consideration, which is a phrase that means just there's a lot to think about, especially because of this little one, school, and trying to figure out the education system. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
I think if you're single and like young and not necessarily single, but I mean like young and like without any health problems, I think moving and living in another country is going to be much easier than with a family, or even like if you have health issues, like that might be harder, because that's when it becomes really important. You have to know your doctor, your provider, your everything, and that can take a while anywhere.
I think another challenge that we've had, like we want to get more plugged in to the system, kind of, or even just to the society. And when I say like we want to get plugged in, it means I think we just want to be more a part of it, socially as well, and kind of making more friends, having a wider social network, because we work at home. It makes it a little more difficult to get out and have many social interactions. As you can see right now, we're sitting in a park all by ourselves.
We don't have friends. we have no friends.
We have no friends to come with us.
Well, that's not true. We have some friends. But to be honest, I think most people who consider moving to other countries, they're not going to work at home. So I think whenever
that's
they go,
true. You're going to be out there.
Have like some kind of connection, some kind of networking, opportunity. So I think that helps.
Yeah.
To have a group, to have an organization, something that you're connected to in the place that you're going. That really, because honestly, like, no matter how great the country is, no matter how much you love it, even if when you visited it, like you loved it so much, you're going to miss it, because it's just not your home. You're going to miss things about your home, and that's normal, and that's okay. I think it took us a while, even though we've loved it. It's like the honeymoon period, and then it sets in.
That's a good phrase, talking about like the honeymoon period is talking about when you first do something, there's a lot of excitement, a lot of energy, everything's new, and then
once that wears off,
it wears off, and like, oh,
you're like, wait, there's some issues.
Oh no.
And then after that, you kind of start getting used to things, and you're like, okay, well,
you got to learn the ins and outs of the different cities, different places, transportation systems, and if you're talking about like the ins and outs, then you're really just saying you need to you use it with the verb learn. You want to learn the ins and outs of something, kind of really know it very well, and know it in detail. Or you could say know something inside and out. It's a similar expression, but I think over time you end up doing that. You end up learning a lot of these things, because right now I think we feel very comfortable in Budapest.
Maybe too comfortable, because we've been saying we're gonna leave for like.
Because we don't have any plans to go anywhere else right now. But I think in the long run, I don't think we will end up staying here.
No, mostly because of Amelia.
Yeah, the camera just shut off inexplicably. What? You have something to add? But yeah, one thing that's challenging, we don't know. We've talked about moving to other places in Europe or possibly the U.S. because we do miss family.
Yeah.
That's one of the, I think, difficult things about traveling or living overseas. I know some of you have experienced that as well, and I'm sure you go through the same things, because people, they tend to get homesick, which is an adjective that just simply means you miss home.
Especially as you start having a family and stuff. With little kids, it matters.
So it's hard to say at this point what the future holds, but of course we will let you know if you keep following our videos and our channel. So I hope that you enjoyed our discussion, maybe learned a few more vocabulary words. Again, this is just good for your listening comprehension to see if you can follow along and understand. So what are you doing?
She's looking at the sky, the birds.
Right. I don't know. We are going to go play around in the park right now and let her go run around. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time.
See you next time.